Your Weather Authority forecast first, brought to you by Todd Shore's McClarty Ford.
And the heat continues here throughout all the architects. Right now, here's a live look here across Shreveport-Bossier. We're looking at partly cloudy skies right now, a temperature of 96 degrees. Winds are very breezy out of the northeast at 13 miles an hour. Does feel as if it's 100 degrees outside. And temperatures over the next couple of hours continue to calm down into the upper 80s around 11 p.m. That's a quick look at your Todd Shore's McClarty Ford forecast first. And the news starts
now. From your community, local news that matters. This is NBC 6 News at 5.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Jenna Jordan. We begin tonight with some breaking news. Police say a Shreveport juvenile is in custody tonight after allegedly shooting his stepfather. Shreveport police responded to reports of a shooting in the 9200 block of Scotch Pine Drive today for what they initially thought was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. When they arrived, officers found a man suffering from non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. On investigating, police learned the stepson and the victim had been in an argument, and the juvenile fired the gun. The victim is recovering at the hospital. 2 women are dead following a fiery crash Saturday night in southeast Shreveport. Police say 52-year-old LaTanya Sibley was driving south on Uri Drive and was speeding when she veered into the northbound lane, hitting 31-year-old Courtney Richardson's vehicle head-on. Richardson died at the scene of the accident. Sibley died at the hospital. The crash remains under investigation and toxicology tests have been ordered. Meanwhile, a family of 6 escaped a massive house fire early this morning. NBC 6's Dominique Dillon talked to the victims, who say they're just happy to be alive.
At 3 Sunday morning, Tammy Smith woke up to the smell of smoke in her house.
I searched the whole house to see where the smoke was coming from. Couldn't find it on the inside of the house.
Smith says her doorbell mysteriously rang, and when she opened the door, she saw the flames.
I went and got all my kids up out the beds, and we tried to get them out the house, and we moved across the street.
Once Smith, her husband, and 4 kids evacuated, they called 911, but a police officer already had seen the flames and firefighters were on their way.
You can actually see the flames in the top of the house through the air vent.
More than 30 firefighters worked for an hour to put out the flames.
We stood across the street and just watched it, watched them work tirelessly.
2 firefighters were injured and taken to a local hospital.
My thoughts and prayers are with the 2 firemen that were injured, trying to save our home, and we appreciate them risking their lives for us.
The home is destroyed and the family says they plan to stay with relatives. Dominique Dillon reporting.
The Smiths say they were told the fire started in the attic, but the official cause is still under investigation. Safety matters and a burn ban continues in Bossier Parish tonight. Parish fire chiefs say the ban is due to recent fires, lack of rainfall, and months of extreme heat. The burn ban will be lifted once enough rainfall relieves dry conditions in the area. In U.S. politics, the number of Americans living in poverty has finally decreased to the level it was before the Great Recession of 2008. That's the word from the annual Census Poverty Report. But the South is the only region to not see a decline in poverty. Jesse Tenor reports.
Thing that moves more people into poverty is medical expenses.
Jane Adams is a policy analyst for Bread for the World.
Last year it moved 8 million people into poverty.
Adams says that's why many voters and presidential candidates continue to focus on health care.
What they want is access to health care.
I think the Obamacare worked, providing health care to every man, woman, and child.
Adams says the newly released annual Census Poverty Report shows the overall poverty rate has dropped to the levels before the 2008 recession. But the report also shows the first decline in health insurance since the passage of the Affordable Care Act. The hardest hit area is the South, where the poverty rate is also the highest and getting worse, not better.
When you don't have access to affordable health care and when you don't have access to, good doctors and good health insurance, you are more likely to be food insecure, you're more likely to really struggle to make ends meet.
The report shows millions of Americans lost access to Medicaid, not private insurance.
These are people who are really vulnerable, who have complex medical disorders or very, very poor children.
To get coverage levels back on track, Adams says many of these states need to be more proactive in the insurance enrollment process and expand Medicaid. Mississippi has one of the highest uninsured rates in the country. It's also one of 14 states that has not expanded Medicaid, but it continues to be a hot topic in this year's gubernatorial race. In Washington, Jesse Tenor.
Education matters, and dozens of parents are learning some ways to help their students succeed. The Caddo Parish School Board hosted a back-to-school celebration Saturday. This event allowed parents to connect with educational, community, and medical agencies. During the event, they also raffled off several prizes.
It's so important because we're trying to educate parents in order to help to educate their children so we can have a better community.
The group's next event will focus on preparing students for LEAP, and that's the state test. That event is scheduled for October 5th. Community Matters and organizers for an annual festival are preparing to make more musical memories. Thousands of folks filled Columbia Park Saturday for the 16th annual Highland Jazz and Blues Festival. Musicians from Northwest Louisiana and across the country performed on 2 stages, filling the air with non-stop music. But the community event is about more than the music. There were also dozens of food and art vendors on site and a kids zone.
I love jazz. I love blues. That's my thing. I just love it. We just came out to be with family, enjoy the atmosphere, and get some good food.
Organizers say this free music festival is a gift to the community from the Highland Area Partnership. All proceeds will go toward next year's event. Well, get ready for funnel cakes and Ferris wheel rides. One of the biggest events in Texarkana is back and bigger than ever. It's opening weekend for the 75th annual Four States Fair and Rodeo. This year there's a new carnival midway with more rides and, of course, all your fried food favorites. Organizers are expecting more than 100,000 people to attend.
Come early so you can be sure and get in the parking lot. We do have some additional parking this year available, and so we're looking forward to being able to accommodate those crowds, but just everyone come be patient. There's plenty of stuff to do for everyone, and we'll get you in.
Gates are open until 10 tonight, and you can find more information on pricing and events at arklatex.homepage.com. The fair runs through next Sunday. Coming up, police are hoping new video showing the moments just after a deadly shooting helps lead them to the suspect. Plus, 2 weeks after Hurricane Dorian ravaged the Bahamas, another tropical storm is now strengthening in the Caribbean. Jesse?
Well, Jenna, right now we are seeing a few showers and thunderstorms out there, but most of us will continue to see hot and dry conditions. We'll talk about your forecast after the break.
Now for your Weather Authority forecast with Jesse Kelly, certified the most accurate forecast in the Arklatex.
You said we were close to setting a heat record yesterday. What about today?
Well, right now temperatures are not as hot, just by a degree or two, but regardless of its temperature, 99, 100 degrees, 101, in my book, it's all hot.
Yes.
So right now we're seeing temperatures right now still into the middle to upper 90s. Lots of sunshine right now. Not that much of rain, although we are starting to see a few thunderstorms developing out there. Show you that in just a second. 97 degrees here in Shreveport, 95 degrees in Texarkana. We've seen those winds light out of the northeast between 5 to 10 miles an hour. 95 degrees in Minden, 99 degrees into Magnolia, 97 degrees right now to Longview. Seeing temperature 95 degrees also up towards Idabel. Now radar is picking up on a few light showers towards the east of Shreveport. Right now seeing a few showers and thunderstorms into Bienville Parish, and also seeing a few more light showers up here into Claiborne Parish. Other than that, things are quiet, but we'll see thunderstorms begin to wind down this evening as soon as the sun sets. And then we'll see yet another hot afternoon for the next couple of days. And the reason why, because we have high pressure into the upper parts of the atmosphere, and this ridge of high pressure is not breaking down anytime soon. But you notice that lots of clouds, lots of showers and thunderstorms down to the Gulf of Mexico. This is all because of an upper-level low working its way off towards the west, not bringing us any impacts, although we could see an increase of moisture from this airflow pressure working its way into the region, which may lead to a slightly better chance of showers and thunderstorms by midweek. And we're also looking at Tropical Storm Umberto, has winds of 70 miles an hour, continue to strengthen, and will become a hurricane possibly this evening before it makes a right-hand turn, moving back out into the open Atlantic. We could see some impacts from Umberto working its way towards Bermuda by the middle of next week. Now, we're also watching this tropical wave here out into the Atlantic. This has an 80% chance of development over the next 5 days. We'll be watching that very carefully. And again, back here into the Gulf of Mexico, watching that airflow pressure, which is south of New Orleans, working its way towards Houston and Corpus Christi. And again, not bringing us any rain here. But with the lack of rain, we do have drought conditions here. We have moderate to even severe drought showing up here throughout the Arctic, and that's why we have those burn bans into place right now. So if you're underneath any burn bans, whether in your county or in your parish, you know that you cannot do any burning. So until we see some significant rain here into the Arctic, we'll continue to see burn bans here over the next couple of weeks. Robinson Forecast shows another quiet evening for tonight. Thunderstorms winding down this evening as soon as the sun sets. For Monday, we'll see more of the same. Partly cloudy skies, very hot indeed. Maybe a shower or two, but again, most of us should remain rain-free for Monday. And the same story goes for your Tuesday. So until the ridge of high pressure breaks down, we'll continue to see plenty of heat and not that much of rain, although the sea breeze may become a little bit more active beginning Wednesday and Thursday. But again, most of us should remain rain-free. About a 20% rain chance beginning Wednesday. So all in all, look at lots of heat, not that much of rain. So of course, I know the forecast sounds like a broken record, but again, until that ridge of high pressure breaks down, we'll continue to see lots of heat and not that much of rain, as most of the significant rain makers remain off towards the north of us. But over the next 7 days, most of us are seeing a whole lot of nothing, lots of goose eggs out there. Although, as we get into next weekend, it's possible, if models verify themselves, we could see a disturbance working its way across the region, which could lead to a slightly better chance of rain by next weekend, but still have plenty of time to watch that. Tonight, though, temperatures falling back down to the upper 60s to the lower 70s. 71 degrees in the Marshall, 70 degrees in Atlanta, and seeing temperature of 73 degrees here in Shreveport. Tomorrow, another hot afternoon. 99 degrees here in Shreveport, 98 degrees in Manning, and 100 degrees down towards Natchitoches. And next 7 days shows temperatures into the upper 90s from Monday all the way through Wednesday. And again, not that much of rain to the forecast. At best, 20% rain chance from now to the weekend, with lows into the 70s. Jenna?
All right, thanks, Jesse. Aid to the hurricane-ravaged Bahamas is on pause as another tropical storm approaches the region. The timing couldn't be worse for the islands as survivors work to pick up the pieces and crews search for more than 1,000 missing people. NBC's Sarah Dolph has the story.
Nervous eyes on the sky this weekend as Tropical Storm Humberto threatens regions previously pummeled by Hurricane Dorian.
The system is anticipated to stay mainly on our eastern flanks,
complicating humanitarian efforts and the search for some 1,300 missing people. Joyce Thomas just learned her brother survived.
I thank God that my brother's alive. He's well. I get to hold him again.
Phil Thomas lost multiple family members.
I got to keep moving. Picking up the pieces bit by bit, one day at a time.
That return to normalcy and the flow of tourism dollars now further delayed by heavy rain and high winds.
I lost my job. I work with tourists. No tourists is on the island. No ship is coming to the island, so I have no way of incomes.
Humberto is expected to make its way up Florida's eastern coast, staying offshore, but still delivering rain to already saturated areas.
Dorian affected me because I was closed for 4 days. That's 4 days without revenue. So if we get another surge, how's it going to affect whether or not we get more customers?
Worried and waiting, battered regions steeling themselves for more severe weather. Sarah Dolph, NBC News.
And that storm is forecasted to grow in strength, becoming a hurricane by tonight. It is not expected to make landfall in Florida, but may pose a threat to Bermuda. Well, still to come, newly released video shows the moments just after a deadly shooting. And a man is facing charges in connection with a synagogue fire. Details ahead.
You're watching NBC 6 News at 5.
Welcome back. In your national headlines, the Seattle Police Department is asking for the public's help in identifying a suspect from a deadly shooting. Detectives are sharing this video taken just after the shots were fired Friday, leaving one person dead and 2 others injured. Here you see that suspect fleeing from the scene with what appears to be a gun. Officials do not believe the shooting was random. Meanwhile, a 36-year-old man is facing an arson charge in connection with a fire that destroyed a synagogue in Minnesota Monday. At this time, police say they do not believe the fire at the Israel congregation is a hate crime. One firefighter was hospitalized after being struck by falling debris. Fire officials said the fire started outside the synagogue and no accelerants were found at the scene.
Based on all the information that I have reviewed, that I've read, the investigators that I've talked to, there is, at this moment in time, there is no reason to believe that this is a bias or hate crime. This may change as the investigation progresses, but at this date and time, that is the determination that we have. Extremely difficult.
The suspect is due in court sometime this week. Union workers at a General Motors facility say they will go on strike at 11:59 tonight if they can't come to an agreement with the automaker. The announcement came just hours after GM's 4-year contract with the United Auto Workers expired. Many workers did not report to work today despite requests from GM to show up. Union officials say they're fighting for fair wages, affordable health care, profit shares, and job security. The national strike includes about 49,000 workers at GM plants in Texas, Missouri, Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan.
These UAW members, not so long ago, helped save a company that many people didn't think was going to survive. They stood up for that company. And now they want that company to stand up for them at the table.
Union officials say it's unlikely both sides will be able to hammer out a deal on so many issues before midnight. About 850 union-represented janitors with Aramark, a separate company, went on strike earlier today. And coming up, we take a look around the world as rescue operations continue in the flood-hit area of southeast Spain. Plus, protests get violent in Hong Kong as pro-democracy activists march into their 15th consecutive weekend.
You're watching NBC 6 News at 5.
Around the world, a violent clash between protesters and police is continuing in Hong Kong. Today, firefighters worked to extinguish a number of small fires protesters set at the entrance to a subway station. Parts of the station had also been vandalized, with broken glass from destroyed windows shattered on the ground. The destruction came less than an hour after police fired a water cannon and tear gas at protesters who lobbed Molotov cocktails outside the Hong Kong government complex. Violence between police and protesters appears to be flaring after thousands of pro-democracy supporters marched through downtown in defiance of a police ban. Rescue efforts are continuing tonight in Spain in some of the worst flash flooding on record in the region. Take a look at this high water rescue. A baby had to be passed to waiting soldiers as waist-high water prevented a family from escaping an apartment building. A small boy also evacuated the same way. 6 people have been killed by the flooding. In Nicaragua, protests are taking place following the release of a report showing human rights violations. The Nicaraguan Center for Human Rights report highlighted what it calls selective crimes and increased repression and persecution of human rights defenders. The country's government has not provided an official response to the report. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is blaming Iran for an attack on a Saudi oil field. The secretary tweeted Saturday that Iran was the source behind the drone launch and called the incident a, quote, unprecedented attack on the world's energy supply. The strikes on the major Saudi Arabian oil facilities have reportedly caused damage to about half of the kingdom's oil capacity. That's about 5% of the daily global oil supply. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman is denying Pompeo's accusations. And stay tuned, Jesse's back with a final look at weather right after the break.
You're watching NBC 6 News at 5.
Welcome back, and here's a live look from our Louisiana tower cam. Beautiful sky.
It looks very nice. Looks like got some clouds back there, but it's just overall just hot.
Yes, looks like it. Well, take a look at this video. This is a major motor show taking a turn toward going green. A whole range of new fully electric and hybrid vehicles is currently on display in Frankfurt, Germany. From sports cars to family-sized SUVs, each of the big German brands had their moment in the spotlight. Experts say the eco-conscious cars are being increasingly seen as a necessity. These vehicles are being debuted as part of a strategy aimed at responding to rapid changes taking place in the auto industry. And so long as they all have air conditioning, I think they'd be great right now.
Yeah, you know, I know I didn't see many cars, you know, have like the little sunroof. You know, you can let it down, but you know, those cars look very nice. You might want to just go take a Sunday evening drive. Maybe to go get some ice cream, some popsicles, something to keep you cool, because summer is not going anywhere anytime soon. Next 7 days shows temperatures to the middle to even the upper 90s. With only slight rain chances, drought conditions will probably only get worse over the next 7 days, and lows into the 70s. So again, hot and dry remains the weather theme for the next 7 days.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Jesse, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here tonight at 10.
NBC 6 News is now on Alexa. Now you have local news that matters at the sound of your voice.